Controversial social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate are in federal custody after U.S. officials arrested the brothers in Miami Saturday. The arrests are connected to criminal cases in the United Kingdom, where authorities are seeking to extradite both men to face rape and other charges.
Andrew Tate now faces more than 30 counts stemming from alleged offenses between July of 2010 and August of 2017. Those counts include rape, assault, sex trafficking, and child pornography offenses. His brother Tristan Tate also faces multiple counts, including rape, sex trafficking, and sexual assault. They both deny any wrongdoing.
The brothers are now awaiting extradition proceedings in the U.S. Is that a slam dunk? Does that mean they will go to Britain to face trial?
Legally, it should be a slam dunk, but it likely won't be. And here's why. Extradition, at least international extradition, is the product of a treaty between the United States and whatever country is requesting it. We have a treaty with the UK. It's a powerful treaty. And by the way, some countries will not extradite their own citizens. Under the treaty, these folks can be extradited. But here's where it's tricky. If Andrew Tate has been a vocal supporter of President Trump, and there are a few ways the executive branch could slow down or even stop these proceedings. Number one, the DOJ has to file a complaint. It's just a formality, but they may choose not to or delay it. Number two, ultimately, no matter what the judge does here in the States, the Secretary of State has to sign and execute a warrant. And that could die on the Secretary of State's desk if the administration decides these are defendants that they want to prevent their extradition. Now, I couldn't find an instance of this ever happening in history, but at least under the law, it's possible.
The Tates are ardent Trump supporters and are hoping that the administration will block their extradition to the UK. Take a listen to what their attorney told me.
Well, I believe that Marco Rubio and the rest of the Trump administration are not fans of communism. They're not fans of prosecuting people for free speech. This is one of the reasons why they've been elected. I led the litigation regarding January 6th-related matters, where January 6th protesters were routinely put in jail for years at a time, even though they were nonviolent at the Capitol. We all lived under that Biden regime era. No one likes it. Trump didn't like it. Rubio didn't like it. So I would just think, as a matter of principle, based on the reasons why that they were elected, that they would not want to see two free citizens go to a country where they're going to be thrown in jail for political reasons.
This is a deep state operation by the UK Foreign Office trying to stop me from doing the one thing I'm intent on doing, which is saving the British state from themselves. I'm not scared of these people. They're lying and they know they're lying. The UK Foreign Office specifically wrote to the Romanians and said, get him off the internet. I have the paperwork. The second I'm there in the UK, I'll be sitting with you, unless I'm remanded, with that piece of paper showing you this is a setup from an intelligence agency because I'm considered a national security threat because young men listen to me instead of their propaganda. It is a lie. And anybody, after Lucy Colony and everything else they've done to everybody after the Southport attacks, if anybody has any faith left in the British justice system, they need their head checked. All of it's a lie. All of the accusations a lie. All of the media is a lie. It's a scam. And Piers, you know it is. You know I've done nothing wrong.
To all units, proceed to your post assignments. All units, proceed to your post assignments.
That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast.
Yeah, baby, it's episode 40 of Probable Cause on July 21st, 2026. Jeff Norman and the FBI whistleblower himself, Greg Dillon, with you, as we always are on Tuesday nights. And tonight we're joined again by independent journalist Ryan Dawson. And we always get a bigger than average audience when Ryan joins us. And tonight's topic is quite juicy, so I bet we'll have a lot of viewers tonight. And that's why I have flossed tonight. How about you, Greg? Did you floss for this?
For this, no, but I do.
Oh, you did anyway. All right, yes. Then it wasn't necessary to do it, especially for this. Ryan, welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you. How you doing?
I put a shirt on for this.
All right. Almost up to the neck, so no cleavage tonight. Very stingy with the cleavage. Yeah. We'll try to cope. We will try to cope. So I feel like, you know, when we have you on, we're playing catch up, whether it's with the Epstein issue or 9/11. You've been on these issues for a long time, and when we had you on, I had to like get up to speed, and I think Greg did.
Big
also.
Epstein news, by the way. You know, Jess Staley has to go before Congress on the 23rd.
Well, that's another thing I'm not up on.
And
But let me.
this is the thing about the Tate case. Jess Staley, the main banker involved with over 20,000 unlawful sex acts that he helped pay for through Jeffrey Epstein's cash grabs, that should have been all over the news. This guy is going to get grilled by Thomas Massie in Congress on the 23rd. But if you look up anything about human trafficking, rape, anything that Epstein did, it's going to be the Tate brothers, because they just got arrested. And this is very similar to when they got arrested for the very first time back in December 2022. That was the exact same time that Denise George filed a lawsuit in the Virgin Islands against JP Morgan for their role in Epstein's escapades. This is what's now coming. That lawsuit did result in $290 million they had to pay out. And Jess Staley was the progenitor in that. He's been sued by JP Morgan. He was their employee. They sued him for his role in Epstein's ring. And hardly anybody knows this is about to happen. This is a big deal. This is the guy
slow
that was
down,
banging girls dressed
because
like Snow White, remember? And
Ryan, I'm not the only one who's not completely up on the Tate brothers. So let's try to set the stage a little bit for our audience.
Sure, I'm just thinking. Why now? Right before the Epstein trial, right?
You tweeted that thanks for plugging the show, by the way. Feel free to do that constantly.
Sure.
You're saying you're going to do it for one last time. Why there's going to be more to the Tate story. Why would you want to retire from talking about the Tate brothers?
I think they're screwed. I mean, I don't think there's any point in the UK. They're never going to get a fair trial there. So, and I've got Epstein and the Iran war and a bunch of other stuff to do.
I see. So you predict they're going to be extradited? That the Trump administration,
they're going to get extradited. Like Marco Rubio doesn't care. These people that think Trump got him out of Romania are high. They got out because that started while Joe Biden was president. This whole process, the prosecution didn't properly file because they never had any evidence anyway, and that started in July. And in December, they get allowed to hey, they gave it back to them. They said, fix this. Here's all the problems, like 210 pages worth of problems.
All right. Well, before you dive into the minutia, let's tell people who don't know a little bit about who the Tate brothers are.
Sure.
Andrew was a, I guess, star kickboxer, and his brother Tristan, I don't know anything about him, but they got very popular doing videos and podcasts in which they espoused a certain way to treat women, and they're very controversial for that. I've got a couple of video clips. You want to give just a little thumbnail sketch?
Sure. They're both kickboxers, and they're both reality television stars. And then they were both, but mostly Andrew, I guess influencers is the best term. And yeah, they're basically going to go to jail for misogyny. And this, you have to understand, Andrew and Tristan Tate were a reaction to the Biden era, where we were so deep in our own end zone that we had pregnant men. And, if you said there were two genders on social media, you get banned. And then here comes this guy, both of them, but especially Andrew, who just went against all of it. He was against that whole thing and the COVID hysteria and a number of political issues that would piss off the Biden administration. He said there's two genders. He didn't buy into that hysteria. He was opposed to the Russia-Ukraine war. He was opposed to the genocide of Gaza. He was opposed to illegal immigrants. Like everything they hated, Andrew had the position of. So they wanted to get rid of him. But
that may answer one of my questions. Before you came on, I was telling Greg that I am very open to the idea of, the matrix, or whatever word you want to use in place of the deep state. I am very open to the idea that they would, bring charges against somebody that are unwarranted because they're too influential. But I'm like, well, what is it that what specifically is the message that they're afraid of? Because I don't think that the powers that be would care that much about misogyny. So it must be some of these other issues like what you mentioned. Is that right?
Misogyny is the excuse. And it's just, They do this, and we both know another person that was wrongly, part of a witch hunt of a similar nature because of political reasons, but they won't come out and say that.
You mean
Certain
our
weapons.
favorite weapons inspector?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was obviously politically motivated because he wouldn't go along with their crap on a rock. And we've seen this before. They accused Matt Gaetz of having sex with a minor. He didn't. Joel Greenberg did. We saw this with Brett Kavanaugh. They went all the way back to his high school years, accusing him of sexual impropriety and things. And that isn't what it was. Is they didn't want him to be in the court, and they didn't want Matt Gaetz to be the attorney general. They did so they come out with these other scandals because they have some other political motivation that they want. Now, Andrew does say bombastic stuff about women, about all kinds of racist
Mexicans,
jokes,
Jews. I know you have an eyesight issue. This one says, I don't listen to women, Mexicans, or Jews, so it's impossible for me to give a fuck less about what she says. He's saying that in regard to the president of Mexico. So that's the sort of thing that makes it easy to go after him, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. His own mouth. But like, that's not illegal to be a dick, or whatever. And I don't, yeah, we'd all be, I'd definitely be.
I'd be doing some hard time, my friend. All right, let's look at a video of him. This is from, I guess you would call it a documentary made by Vice TV called The Dangerous Rise of Andrew Tate, just to give people another taste. It doesn't matter what you think of Vice. It's still a good way to give people a taste of, what he's like. Check this out.
Sure.
Is this a sharp sword or is it kind of a decorative sword?
I did a Tate speech about why I have this sword. A Tate speech is like my YouTube channel, Tate Speech.
Yeah, yeah.
And I talked about how the #1 problem with the world is that not enough men walk around their houses with swords.
Mm-hmm. That's up there for sure.
Because if more men walked around their houses with swords, so many of the world's issues could be fixed. But you have to extrapolate it.
Okay.
For example, so the woman panics, she sees something on TV, the man comes home, she's like, oh, we gotta start wearing a mask, da, da, da. If the man walked around with a sword, and she's like, put a mask on, he'd be like, I'm brave, I don't need a mask, I'm a commander. Fuck you. It's just a symbol of empowerment. You got your sword, your wife starts talking, you're like, shut up, I decide what I do. Be quiet, cook.
Well, misogyny, that's almost comedic. I mean, I don't know how old you are, Ryan. You may be a little too young to have seen this the first time around, but maybe you've seen videos of Andy Kaufman when he used to wrestle women. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's not exactly the
movie about him, Man on the Moon.
Yeah, right. It's not exactly the same thing because, some people didn't realize Andy Kaufman was doing satire, essentially. A lot of people did. But nobody was like, paying thousands of dollars to take seminars from Andy Kaufman to learn how to behave like him. But it did remind me of that. It's like, it's hard to even take that seriously. It's so ridiculous.
Telling you to stab your wife with a sword. I mean, it's obvious sarcasm. It's stupid. It's just whatever. That was a character that he would do. It's kind of like my my pretend beef with redheads. I have all these ginger jokes and stuff.
Fake feud, in other words.
Yeah, I'm red-green colorblind. So the whole thing was like showing how stupid racism and prejudice is by making it overly ridiculous on purpose. But there are people who are so dumb, they think I really hate the gingers, It's just, I don't know.
Wait, do you walk around your house with a sword?
I have an axe. I don't have a sword.
The guy interviewing him even made a joke out of it. He's like, when he said this will solve all the world, it's the #1 issue that we need to solve problems. Yeah, that's really up there on the list.
But see, in that dialogue, he says when she comes home and tells you to put on a mask, like he is talking about a real political issue at that time where everyone's running around masked, a double mask, how stupid he thought it was. And people, you can argue with the delivery or whatever, but like that misogyny crap is not really why they didn't want him. Before he was charged with anything, they blanket banned social media in August 2022. Now, I had this happen to me as well. There have been very few people completely blanket banned, but when you lose your Twitter, your YouTube, your Facebook, and Instagram, and all these companies that are supposedly not owned by one person all in the same day, that's an order from above. That is a government deciding, get rid of this guy, shut him up. So you can see from that, when they did that, that they didn't want him on the internet. the problem was with all the clippers and things, and because of Telegram and Rumble and these alternatives, they couldn't completely censor them. And then Elon Musk comes and returns the Twitter accounts, which has like 10.8 million followers or something, and Tristan's like 3 million. But two guys both had all their social media wiped out in August without any charges at all.
What about the third Tate brother, Zeppo? Does he have much of an audience?
No.
Okay. So you have some kind of a relationship with these guys. Can you tell us about that? You know them to some extent?
Yeah, I was actually investigating them like I did. This is kind of what I do. I went after Epstein. I went after Peter Nygard. I went after Robert Miller. I hunt down pedophiles and sex traffickers, the ones that actually did it. And I was approached by the Tate haters to look into them. I'm like, yeah, screw these guys, because it looked pretty solid in the beginning. But I looked through and I go, this isn't what you think it is. I kept getting videos clipped out of context and things, and I'd read the BBC and things like that. Not that you can trust them. They've lied about every war ever, and they have pedophiles in their staff, which is the UK government at large. Like the Labour Party is just full of perverts and things. And Keir Starmer, of course, refusing to investigate Jimmy Savile, who's a serial pedophile, and of course appointing Mandelson, who's Epstein's best bud. Like they're not really clean, the guys going after the Tate. So I went to look into it, and other than tax evasion, I didn't find any criminal networks or human trafficking or rape.
But did you get to know them? Because people are saying they pay you, and I'm not saying they do, but
that's because of these messages from Myron Gain. I was talking to this guy he does this podcast called Fresh and Fit privately. Did not need the DMs put on the internet. So it's not spelled out in the DMs because I thought I was only talking to him. I don't know why he put our whole conversation.
But in your own tweet here, Ryan, you said they let you into their home.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting to. But before I met them, I've been to their house. I know these guys. I know their everything. Which is not something guilty people would do, is allowing someone like me that you're like, I've got that Epstein map on my wall.
Right. You have a reputation of going after pedophiles and rapists and stuff like that.
I think if you rape someone, you should be castrated. I'm pretty extreme on this stuff.
Right. But what about you, Greg? Are you anti-rape or pro-rape? I'm just trying to get Greg into the conversation anyway. Okay.
Well, let's do it on another question other than that one, but thank you.
All right. I'll take that as Greg. Greg is anti-rape. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Anyway, I was started in the anti-Tate camp, but I was trying to be neutral. I'm like, okay. But there were some things like prior to the whole Romania saga, there was there were a couple incidences in the UK. One we can debunk real easy. It was a video that got leaked of him having sex with this girl and hitting her with a belt and choking her and stuff. And they're like, look at this abuse. That video leak got him thrown off of a reality TV show that he was in the middle of. But then the girl came out 7 times videoing herself saying, I'm the girl in the video. It was consensual. This is just something we were into. And there's a little 30-second clip if you want to play that. I found the shortest one of her doing it.
Yeah, this is the one you sent me in X, right? That's one you're talking about?
It's the blonde girl with the top. No, this is
the one that you uploaded tonight. The one you sent me before was not a blonde.
Right on the bottom, if you see it.
Got it. All right, here we go.
I just wanted to say something about the video that's been released recently about me and my ex-boyfriend, Andrew Tate. Andrew is my still great friend. What you guys saw on the video, it's just what we used to do. It was just pure game. He's a great guy. He would never hurt anyone. Unless he's fighting. No. And I just wanted to let you know that this is a huge misunderstanding because I heard he got kicked out from the house because of it, which I found very unfair. It's because it was just pure game. It's just what we used to do.
So kicked out of the house means, I think it was called Big Brother. It's still that's still a show today.
Oh yeah, I know that show.
So he's thrown off that house because of this tape that came out. And it's like, but people seized on it. A lot of people never saw that video of her saying, hey, it was me, it was consensual. Because the other side was so loud and look at him abusing women. because he says things in a very sarcastic, bombastic way that are derogatory about women, that he's really standing up for male rights. If you listen to his full context, that they're looking for a witch to burn. And so when they heard or they saw this tape, like, see, that's what that monster is. And it doesn't matter that the girl came out and said, I'm her. This was consensual. This is what we did. It shouldn't have been thrown off the show. Now, he didn't get any legal trouble for that, but reputation wise, legally you can't, because it was legal. It was him and a girlfriend, but through reputation, he suffered greatly, because very few people saw her videos compared to what was all over the news media about
well, she's not the only one. There's several other women
Right.
who are insisting that they're not a victim. Let's take a look at one of them. This is the brunette. We've looked at the blonde, a nice character witness. Here's a brunette character witness.
It's been 2 days since I chose to come out publicly about the recent events of Andrew and Tristan Tate. I really want everyone to see how corrupted the system, the country, and the authorities are. 2 days and my friends and family are still arrested for crimes they didn't commit. 2 days and I'm still a victim in this case. I am not a victim. Beatrice is not a victim. There are no victims in this case, and there is no crime.
All right, well, that's enough of her. You get the idea. I don't know how she knows there aren't any victims, though. She can speak for herself. And, you know, look, we're trying to be
speaking for Beatrice too, because she's the one that can speak English. Beatrice can sort of speak English. She's Romanian, and she actually does talk too, and with subtitles, says it herself. But that's kind of.
But aren't there like 20 accusers? I mean, I'm not saying that it's legitimate, but by this, I mean, you're saying he's innocent. She's saying he's innocent. But how would anybody know about all these other accusers?
This is the thing. So we're kind of skipping ahead from the UK to Romania, but once you're on TV labeled as that, you know, you're going to find any girl they've ever met can come out now, especially after they get some money, and go, oh, I know that guy or his brother, and da 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 da. But what was happening was, if you had even one real rape victim, that's all you need. You don't need to go around and categorize people as victims who aren't victims, who are saying themselves, I'm not a victim. You know what they told these girls? Like, yeah, you are. You're just brainwashed and don't know better. These are people with university degrees. They're not like children or anything. These are grown adults, and they're selling them, you are a victim. And they're going, no, I'm not. They go, you just don't know. And they had a psychologist come in and tell them, you're all brainwashed by the Magic Tate brothers. And they're thinking, no, this is my like friends. These are people I work with. This is not that. And many of them came out and did that. The whole Romania case relied at first on just two girls, one of whom I can't say their names, even though people know what they are. We have to call them Jane Does now. One of whom is just a absolute serial liar. But before we get to Romania, there's a very important case in the UK that happened that they've kind of reopened. And it was a case brought in 2019 about incidences that allegedly occurred between 2013 and 2015. But, you know, the case they didn't bring it up till 2019. And CPS rejected it, lack of evidence. However, the media didn't care. And they put stuff out. If you can put that text up right next to the picture of the girl, the blonde girl in the video, things, and anyone can Google this. They're like, oh, Andrew Tate said in a text message, I so enjoy raping you, blah, blah, blah. Can you stick that on the screen?
Sure.
Yeah, it says and, which means there was something before it. And I love raping you and watching you let me while debating if it's a good idea or not. I like the conflict you have. And you do have it. Don't deny it. Now that sounds like, oh my gosh, there he is admitting that he raped somebody and that he enjoys it and that he's got some weird fetish of how she sort of allows it or something. That they put that in the Guardian, the BBC, and everything. They didn't put the text above or below it. And you know they have it because you cannot have that text without having the rest of it. So,
well, no less of an authority than E. Jean Carroll told Anderson Cooper on CNN that rape fantasies are common. Remember? Did you guys see that?
They are common.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean people want.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Sorry.
Oh, you can play it if you want.
Yeah. Well, I only have the end of it. She said that rape for a lot of people, rape is a sexual fantasy. And then Anderson Cooper got very nervous and tried to get to a commercial. And as he was going to a commercial, this is what she said to him.
You're fascinating to talk to.
And he's gay, so to flirt with him has just added another layer of ridiculousness to it. So
maybe that's a fetish to turn somebody. But
yeah, right.
Look,
well, let's get back to why they're going after her.
So I mean, what Carol was saying was a nuanced take. She's not advocating rape or anything, or even her own rape. I don't believe she was, but like, let's just
right. She didn't say it was her own fantasy. She just said
exactly.
It's
like a lot of people are into that. A lot of people are into like Jess Staley, like Disney princesses. He dressed them up like Snow White. He said after twice as soon as she put the costume on. He's on before Congress on the 23rd. It is a thing. Where is like controlled choking, spanking, S&M, all these things are things.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. If you go to any porn site, or if you don't want to go to a porn site, just go to like a Wikipedia page about pornography, and you'll see a list of fetishes that's as long as the day is, what's that saying? As long as the day is long, something like that. It's like everybody has some fetish. What's yours?
It's a role play kind of thing. But this girl, maybe this was Andrew's thing, but not hers. Because if you look at the text right next to it, it's like green and white. We need to pull these up. I hate having to do this, but like they're in jail anyway, so you got to reveal some private stuff. Oh, that's the second message, but that's enough.
You want this one?
Yeah, so I don't think so. Well, you can say it and then not see me. This is sort of broken English. And it says, Andrew, you're not stupid. Why would I talk to you if I didn't want to see you? So you agree my rape control and all I do to you, good. If I consent, it's not rape, she says, because she consented.
Yeah,
no,
right.
but it's still controlling. And then it's the next page. I might have missed this sentence. What are they? And then she's asking, what do you get from me hating it? Like, why do you want me to pretend like it's not consensual and not rape? Because I'm a terrible person. And she's like, Mr. fucking nice guy. And then you get that text, and I love raping you and watching you, da, 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 da. And then to the bottom, she's like, makes you feel powerful. It's like she's asking, why do I have to pretend like you're raping me? What do you get out of me hating it? Does it make you feel powerful? And this girl continued to fuck him and date him for months after all of this. But retroactively, they take out only the middle of that conversation.
No, I get it. So this is his
Achilles. That's just one example, right?
This is his Achilles heel. But please, let's get back to why they're going after him. He blames it on the Matrix, which to me sounds like synonymous with the deep state. Let me show this video clip, and then I want to ask you to kind of bullet point what you think the issues are. I don't know if it's 1, 2, 3 different issues that you think the Matrix is worried about, because I'm still a little fuzzy on that.
Matrix did attack me. And we have sources of influence in the world. We obviously have the media machine, we have the banking and the money, and then there's some individuals with large amounts of influence also, and I was one of them. And whenever you have different powers competing for influence over the minds of the youth, there's going to be a degree of combativeness, there's going to be a degree of confrontation. So there are certain ideas that the school system, the educational system, the banking system, the media system, all of these ideas are being pushed on the youth, and because I was pushing a different idea, they decided I had to be punished. To answer exactly who the Matrix is, it's a difficult one to surmise succinctly and shortly, but there are people in charge of the world who want to ensure that most people stay asleep and stay slaves, that they pay taxes and never get ahead, and believe the lies they are told. And if you're anywhere near the truth, or you're anywhere near waking people up to the reality of how this world functions, then you're going to soon learn that law in and of itself is a weapon.
So he's talking about the truth. He's pushing an idea that they don't like. What is he talking about? As concisely as you can, just tell us, what are the issues that the Matrix is worried about?
He pissed them off on all levels, but and a lot of people think what did him in was his position on Palestine, but I don't think so. I think it was the school that they made. They made a school called The Real World, like an online place where you could take courses for pragmatic skills that would help you start making money right away. So like a teenager could do it. They could learn about drop shipping. They could learn
Wasn't that
how to
Hustle
buy a
University?
crypto.
Was that the same thing?
I think that was
Same
the
thing.
predecessor.
It was just like a different name for it. Hustler University and then the Real World. I mean, I guess it's the Real World evolved out of Hustler University. It added more professors and more stuff. So it's
Well, actually, I've got a clip of that. As long as you mention it, let me show.
Hey, how's it going? Hi. Hey, how are you? What are these guys up to?
Conquering the world, my friend.
Through what means?
I run Hustlers University, which is now currently the biggest online educational platform in the world. We've grown extremely fast. We have 110,000 students inside of a year.
Hustlers University. Hustlers University. Hustlers University.
For $49 a month, Andrew Tate's online Hustlers University promises to teach his millions of followers the secrets of modern wealth creation, from crypto trading to dropshipping.
No big deal, just the biggest online school in history.
All right, so this is what you think is the main issue of why the powers that be fear him.
Yeah, I think Big Ed is just as strong as Big Pharma. They did not like that. They like this student loan gambit and getting people, their only path is to go to four-year university or tech school and blah, 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 blah. And he's getting there, and these people were making money. I took a course in there on digital editing and stuff. It helped make my films on 9/11 and NUMEC and stuff. It was, it's a school. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But they did not like that these people are becoming millionaires selling people practical tools. I don't see it as how that's any different than like Curiosity Stream or any of these other things. You can go and learn science, history, whatever. But his school is almost all economics. It's like, you know, how to make money online mostly, and like 50 different ways you can make money online. Shows them practical skills. It does. He's not saying don't go to school, don't go to college. You could do both. It's not one or the other. You can supplement your education with this. But this is the way a young man could start making money that day easily by teaching you these skills. They didn't like that at all.
You know what? Can I tell you why you have me worried now, Ryan? Because we have a new sponsor, a precious metals sponsor called Goldco, and we've been encouraging people to consider how they could build wealth by buying gold and silver. Do you think that Greg and I now have to worry about possibly being accused of rape or any such thing?
I think if you reach hundreds of millions of people the way Tate was, yes. That it's not.
Then we don't. Then we have nothing to worry about. Then
it's the reach. Like, it doesn't.
Well, let me. Last week on the Whiners, our other podcast, we had Peter C. Earl on as a guest. He's an economist with the American Institute for Economic Research. And he was talking about how inflation can actually help drive the price of gold up. So let's take a look at that.
As for gold, the expectation yesterday was that inflation would be hotter, and that would mean that the Fed would be more likely to raise rates in the future, and that would push the gold price up because of course higher interest rates mean more uncertainty, and of course gold would become more valuable. I think gold sold off because we had a better rate inflation than it was expected, and it lowered the possibility that the Fed would raise rates. But again, gold moving $100 or $50 back or forth, really sort of small moves compared to what we've seen in the last, year, and then really since the pandemic. So it's a small move. So higher inflation means that essentially that your money is losing value faster, and gold is, among many other things, a store of value. So gold becomes more valuable. More people put their money in gold when we have high inflation.
Are you a precious metals guy, Ryan?
I don't really have the money to invest, so it doesn't matter. But other people can do what they need.
Right.
I think obviously they digitize money into existence, and they're paying off the massive debts for these imperial escapades and wars. And now, with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and all this thing, I've watched this happen in Japan. I watched the yen drop 30% in a matter of 2 years. And it would have been nice to have some metal. So, at least, even if it stood still, you're making money just by not losing the money you get from the inflation for paper money.
That, I think, is what Peter Earl's point was. Exactly.
And Jeff, I just, it sounds like silver and gold are synonymous at this point, it seems.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't think they're synonymous, but I'm not the one to clarify.
In as an investment opportunity.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm not sure. I don't think that they're totally equal. Do you know? Are you able to speak to that, Ryan?
They're the same in the sense of it's an asset you can hold to hedge against inflation, but they're not going to do that at the same rate. Sometimes silver is better, sometimes gold is better. You have to look into current circumstances and details to know which one to invest in. But it's good to get some sort of asset like that, and crypto's kind of out. People realizing the hype train on that.
I have a follow-up question, and I wish I knew this answer ahead of time. I'm not familiar with drop shipping. When they keep referring to drop shipping, I should have looked it up, but I didn't have the chance.
Okay, it's like I teach you guys right now, like this T-shirt I'm wearing and this hat I'm wearing. I sell these
Shopify type merch, right? Yeah.
Shopify type things. So what it is I don't have a factory where I can sit and make T-shirts, or I don't have like a little print thing in my house to do this. So I can go to a company, and there's a whole bunch of them you can pick from that prints shirts or makes hats or makes mugs or whatever. And then I can go to another company like Shopify, which is like the storefront, where I can put all my items there and they'll process credit cards and stuff and sell them. But the drop shipping is the company making the shirts will also mail them for you. But the customer never contacts them. They go through Shopify. So one's doing the money processing and stuff, and the other will deliver. So me in Korea, if I use an American company or a couple of them, I can now have things made in the United States and shipped in the United States to customers who come through my Shopify, and I don't have to sit there and make the clothing or anything like that. That's all it is.
Okay.
And so like a young person could do that. If you have a cool idea, a cool T-shirt, an Epstein map or something that you think you can sell, you can go to one of these drop shipping sites that will take your, take the orders from a Shopify or Etsy or whatever and mail them out to your customers.
And it's basically print to order. It's not like they have a stack of T-shirts there. When it's ordered, they make it, right?
Right. It's print to order. And if you're selling them regularly, they'll go ahead and make a few anticipating that. Sure. And
so we're flashing your website on the screen now, Ryan. Can people get your merch there at ryandawson.org?
No, but you can get up my movies and stuff there. The merch is called antineocon.com, and that's my store. And I have, I've got actual human traffickers and stuff. I sell this and theft of weapons trafficking, and then this big red one's the 9/11 map. We sell all those in the store. It's just sad. Like you've seen several false allegations already, and you see the distortion by the media. They wiped out their social media, and then they intentionally clip text with no context. And the other side is really bad about showing the full context, because it's like you have to admit to something else to save yourself from a greater crime. But he's sitting there and this girl's like, I'm not into this rape stuff. Does that make you feel strong and stuff? He doesn't want people to see that either, but you have to, because the alternatives, if you don't show that, it looks like you raped somebody. But that they knew that wasn't true. You could not see that text without seeing the rest of it. And the CPS agreed initially when these women brought this case accusing them of rape and trafficking. The Crown prosecution, that's what they really are. Prosecution said, this isn't enough evidence. This is crap, and dismissed it twice. Now it's all been reopened and added again, because in the UK, there's no double jeopardy. It's not like America. They can just keep accusing you of the same thing until they get it to stick. There's no due process law. There's no, you don't have the right to know your accusers. They don't even know who some of these women are. So how can they prepare a defense? They don't know who it is, where it allegedly happened, when it happened. If you knew when and where, you could go through your electronic devices and go, I wasn't even in that city that day or whatever. They don't know, because they won't share any of that information.
Ryan, am I mistaken? Isn't there also a charge somewhere in there of child pornography? Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's the brand new one as of like 3 days ago. It says they added like 38 new charges or something between the two of them. They had 10 and 11. Tristan had 11 and Andrew had 10.
Yeah, but I'm saying that charge.
How can you let your brother beat you? He's got one more charge. Well,
that charge is a little different arena than people's memories and allegations, because it's
yeah,
on.
they're saying there's a photo or something of somebody. I don't buy it because it like there was okay in the Romania case. There was this girl who was 17. They don't mention the part that neither one of them had sex with her, so it doesn't matter, according to her own statements and theirs. But they knew somebody who was a teenager, which
No,
is
I'm
actually
saying
not
it's
underage in the UK or
possession
Romania.
of child pornography is different.
Right. That is like, oh, well, if there's a picture of a kid on your phone, they can do that. And we'll see what
Well,
that's
yeah, I mean,
about.
I think anybody who's poking around porn sites could, incidentally click on that. But if they've got tons of child pornography, that's
Anybody
a
on a
different issue.
forum, this is what happened to Kevin Strom. Like stuff will get put in your temporary files that you didn't even look at if it's just on the site somewhere. Like who knows what that is. And again, they won't say what it was or anything. And it's weird. Oh, really? You just discovered this right now. 7 new victims between 2010 and 2017, all in the UK. Both brothers did it. You didn't know this from 2019 to 2022 when things blew up in Romania and they're all over the news for human trafficking and rape. And you just, what are these women just all invisible? And that's why they're looking around Romania for anybody they could add to the case. And you get this hilarious scene outside the courthouse and in with women screaming, "I'm not a victim." And they said it in the parking lot to the media. They said it in the during the hearing. They're like, "Why are you listening to me? This is it. I didn't do this." Da, 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 da. Essentially, what they had was webcam business. And this is where the simps lose their minds because they admitted, like, oh, you're not actually talking to the girl. You're talking to me, or you're talking to some Filipino that we hired. Like, no crap. Girls on OnlyFans don't actually talk to their customers. Do you think a girl can talk to 1,000 people or 100 people? Like, no, she don't have time to do that. You're paying for a fantasy. If you really think that you're different from all the other guys and she actually likes you, it's the weirdest thing is most of these guys that are on these sites are trying to get a prostitute. They're like, I'll fly you out. And she makes some excuse and won't come. They're mad that there wasn't human trafficking.
I need you to clarify something. When somebody pays for OnlyFans, I thought that they're paying to talk to somebody, but you're saying no. What is it that they get if not that?
So I was always confused why anybody would pay for this stuff because I'm like, if you need to see a naked woman, that takes about 2 seconds if you have the internet.
Right.
But they're not paying for the striptease or the porn. They're paying for the girlfriend experience. They want attention from somebody. And so, but it's just known you're not actually talking. It's like talking to an AI girlfriend, essentially. You probably are talking to AI at this point, but you used to talk to other people who would.
But is it the AI where it's created to look like the person they know, or not even?
There is either a real person or an AI girl. It's hard to tell these days, who is doing the videos and stuff, but she's not chatting with anybody. Someone else is, or a robot is. She don't have time to talk to that many people all at once.
Oh. So you're seeing like a pre-made thing. Ooh, this is me miming having sex. And
I think it's like after the video they talk on chat or she sends them a voice message or whatever, but it's all fake. And it's kind of understood. Like it's like
we're learning so much
you
tonight.
lost money at a casino. Like, what'd you think was going to happen? Do you think the stripper really likes you? Like, you're such a dork.
I'm not taking a position on the guilt or innocence of the Tate brothers, but I don't think it's a great argument when you say, X number of women showed up claiming they're not victims, because it's not an election. It's not like the majority wins. If you show up with 2 victims and 20 of them say I'm not a victim, you don't win.
That's not why I'm arguing, though. I'm saying that shouldn't happen at all. If you have to shop around to add people to a case who themselves say, I am not part of this, that don't include me in this, you wouldn't need to do that if you had even one real person. You just would get that person and convict them on that. Why would you add a bunch of people who themselves are saying, I'm not part of this, this isn't true? And it's par for the course, like why they're taking stuff out of context when you have the context. Why do you need to add all this extra stuff? If you have something real to point to that and convict them. This just drags it out, and it's harmful for those women. Like that hurt their reputation. They were not part of this, and they're in the news as if they were. And they didn't want that. That's why they were very vocal, saying, "Hey, don't put my name on that. I didn't do this. I'm not a victim of this. I wasn't even doing webcam," or they were part of the financial part of it, not a girl on the camera, whatever. They don't want to be included, and they're being included anyway. And I want you to see the progenitor. I'm going to show you her messages right now, like how bad it was. I can't get into the Tate case because that's ongoing, although that might be dead now because they'll probably never get the trial that was supposed to happen in December. But this woman has been sued by other people in the past for the same thing, false allegations of rape and trafficking. And you can see, I'm going to show you some text she did with, I've taken the names out. We're going to call her Jane Doe. But if you look at Exhibit 1 all the way on the left.
That says Exhibit 4 on the left.
All the way on the left. Well, on my left.
4.
It's 1. One next to
this?
me.
Is it this or no?
That is 4.
You don't want that. You want Exhibit 1. Hold on.
So
Can't you press on it and put in what you want, or you need me to do it?
It won't let me. Let's see. Nah.
It won't.
That would have been cool.
Where is Exhibit 3? There's
Exhibit
so much.
1.
There's so much down there.
Yeah. Well, I'll remove the ones we did already, if that helps.
Oh, Exhibit 1. I got it. Here it is. Oh, that's too small to read.
I kind of got it memorized. So the man is in black. The woman is the orange or yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That was too fast.
No, nobody can read it. Oh, you need to see it? Go ahead. All right.
I can see it. So
yeah, okay.
It says, so this is where she's like called him with his tall tale. And he's saying, so after your phone died, you couldn't look at my messages or share your location. You managed to talk to her, meaning her mom, convey her your location and tell her what happened. Then you would have already known that you weren't going to the police because she said she was raped and trafficked. I said I was going to try anyways. My mom is letting me hear. I'm just reading what she wrote. Letting me hear so I don't talk to police. I really don't want this right now. I don't want to explain myself to you. And every time I say something, you don't listen or tell me you don't care. That's what I'm always on the verge of. And I know if I go to the police station, I'm going to be too emotional and end up saying everything. And he says, all I've done is listen. That's how I know this doesn't make sense. And now you're racking on an incentive for me to not want to go to the police. And again, she's like, my mom is letting me come over to talk. She already told me she doesn't want me here. And then he says, you know my email, that hasn't changed. You know how to log into Uber, and your phone seemed to have enough juice to talk to your mom, explain what happened, convey your location, and have her tell you not to go to the police and that she'd bring you home. And she responds, she told me she doesn't want me when she initially kicked me out too. Do whatever you want. I'm just happy you have grace. I wish I could have sex normally without getting fucking raped. You were supposed to protect me and guide me. And he doesn't listen to any of that. He says, your phone died, but you didn't have a charger until now. So how are you messaging me from 9:17 a.m. to 2:25 p.m.? Want to continue telling me that you're giving it to me straight? She says, I woke up immediately and plugged it in an outlet that was next to a dirty mattress on the garage floor that I was in. This is so stupid. He says, so you were brutally raped, locked in a garage, but he let you have your phone and your stuff so you could pull out your charger and give your phone some juice. She says, it was in my bag. I never saw his face. And then he writes, I understand. It doesn't matter. You're telling me the guy didn't check you for a phone, kept you at his house, brutally assaulted you, and left you in his garage, unworried that you might call someone, but not worried enough to not let you see. He's worried enough to not let you see his face. If you ever want to tell me straight, true stories, use the Uber and come over and we'll talk. Blah, blah, blah. So like she's got this dumb story. You can remove that now. About being locked in a guy's garage and raped. And she really just F some dude so she had a free place to stay. And it continues. It gets really stupid in Exhibit 3 and 4 about he tells all the other lies she's been saying to him. Of course, this isn't a lawsuit. I don't have emotional connection with you. You destroyed it. Father's suicide. He responds, okay, father's suicide, brother's overdose, mother trying to take your house, mother finding out we're still seeing each other, mother's boyfriend molesting you, 2 fake, horrible, vivid rapes, 2 fake pregnancies, 5 fake family members. Did I destroy the emotional connection? Oh, completely fake. Sudden discovery of your adoption. Like she told everyone she was adopted. How much of that did I comfort you through? How much of it was just designed to manipulate you? I did. There, you got what you wanted. I destroyed everything. Yes, you are correct. Please don't make my mom out to be a bad mom. She's really an amazing woman. You told me she abandoned you and your 2 younger children to go on a meth binge, and that the only person to ever help you when you were in need was your older brother, Matt. Thought that was all clarified. This is fucking stupid. She doesn't want to take accountability for a long list of bullshit she had given this sugar daddy.
All right. Well, this is not a deposition. This is kind of a long.
No, it just like you need to know what a fucking liar this person is. Just one last one, because this sends it home. So I bleeded out the red part's confidential, so whatever. But it says like, I think I need you to kill blank 22 and become blank 17. So those were usernames. Because she was not 22 years old. She was 17. Yeah, I can't really tell people my age, though, until I turn 18. I think it's important for me not to put the case on the line. He says, it's taken me a while, but I realized I believe in you is intended to change, blah, 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 blah. This is the important thing. If you're looking for me to publicly tell my actual age and name today or before my case is over, I'll sadly have to inform you that I won't. If that is what it takes to prove myself to you, I won't be able to do so. He said, well, I won't now that we're done. And then he says her name. It says, that's up to you. But lying to the world so that you can lie in court, that's a fucked up reason and a fucked up priority. She says, so I can lie in court? Smiley face, okay. And he says, you don't mind if I let this person know you're 17, do you? Why would you do that? You're threatening me because I want to change. And blah, blah, blah. So she was saying, don't tell anybody my age. I need to keep lying about that because I need to lie about it in court. And what she was doing is she was banging dudes, said I'm 22, would bang them, and then say, psych, I'm actually under 18. If you don't keep giving me gifts and doing what I want, I'll tell the police you banged a child. This is extortion, and it's made up. She's a serial liar.
You should send the Tate brothers a bill for legal services. That's quite an argument you've made. But this is
another guy's case, which is available on Court Listener online. It's stupid to hide these names and shit. I tried to anyway, but it's like this is publicly available online anyway from another case. There's nothing to do with the Tates, but it shows a precedent of someone using their sexuality to lure in men and extort them and lying in court and lying about everything, man. Adopted, abusive mother, father, all this stuff. And like they got deep sympathy for this person. And she, goes on to admit she's a serial liar and doesn't know why she does it and Like there's something wrong with her. But this is the accuser that would go to Romania and say this shit.
Right. All right. Well, I think that in the time we have left, we should talk a little bit about your work because you dig into this in great detail all the time. And you mentioned earlier that you sell merchandise, and I'm not asking for specific figures, but I think the audience, and I know I would like to know, how do you earn income? There's the merchandise, and then on your Substack, you have paid subscribers. Is that
right? Substack is pretty much everything. Plus, this is extra. And Substack, recently, like it took a long time to build up the Substack because I was blanket banned, and I wasn't until I got my Twitter returned, which I started at 0. So it took a long time to build that up. I had no on-ramp to feed my Substack with. I'm not allowed on YouTube. I'm not allowed on Instagram, not allowed on Facebook. Can't use PayPal, can't use Discord, can't, any of that stuff. I'm not allowed. And why? Because I went after actual human traffickers like Glenn Maxwell and Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel and so on. And they canceled me. And this is why I can believe the Matrix attack. Now, it could be the case that there are both false allegations and real ones. You saw that with Harvey Weinstein. He definitely did it, but not every girl was accusing of him. Like some of them did it and wanted the money and wanted the power, and it wasn't what they said. Sometimes you do get both, but I have yet to see any evidence of a real case so far. Maybe the UK has something that they don't know and it's all anonymous. But like, why wouldn't you lead with that if that is true? That's what makes me skeptical about the whole thing.
Well, they don't
And
have
that's the other thing.
prosecutors
Let it
involved
come out in
before.
a trial. You don't have trial by media. You go to a court of law, you present the evidence in defense. That should have happened years ago, and it didn't.
What were you saying, Greg?
No, I'm saying they're not obligated to put their best evidence in the public view now. They can hold it back until it's trial time, and oftentimes they do that.
They've only put out bogus evidence. That was their best evidence. Like, they don't have any other. The Romania case,
But this is your opinion, Ryan. You don't know this for a complete fact. You don't know what the prosecution is holding. You just know what you've discovered.
I know the prosecution, after this many years, didn't present any real evidence, and they ended up losing their case.
Right.
I know the CPS threw out the original case twice because of the lack of evidence. We do know that.
Yeah.
All right. So the next step in this is a decision on the extradition. I guess the first court appearance is more or less a formality. And then at some point, the Department of Justice, as I understand it, will make a decision. And then the last or the final decision on extradition is the Secretary of State's. Is that your understanding, Ryan?
Yeah, Rubio is going to extradite him most likely. And once they get to the UK, I don't think they have a snowflake's chance in hell of a fair trial there. That, like, you can see they were after them when they banned their social media. Like, the government doesn't like these guys.
Right.
And it's a great irony because they support the war in Ukraine, which has displaced millions. That's real human trafficking. And there's just a litany of people involved in the UK government who, including police, that were involved in 3 different police officers were involved in the grooming gangs and rape. And it's just, you have so many, like Dan Norris, Mike Hill, Connor McKinn, a lot of MPs and councilors, Woodcock Bellarmine, who was involved in bestiality and child sex, like Sean Morton, former counselor, another MP. He had pictures of 10-year-olds and with dogs and stuff. These people, it's nuts. He had a BBC presenter that was raping dogs to death. And I mean, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones type of thing. And Keir Starmer, of course, head of CPS at one point, refused to go into Jimmy Savile, was a serial rapist. Peter Mandelson, who is a homosexual, but still in the Epstein ring, because Epstein involved a lot of white collar crime. And finally, only after the files came out, was there any consequence, and he lost his position. But Starmer put him in power too. Like, how sincere are you about going after rape and trafficking when we see these reports? And I don't believe Rupert Lowe that it's 250,000 rapes. It's whatever. He's a Zionist and exaggerates. But there were rapes that were.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a prediction, and that is that you're not done covering the Tate brothers. We will see about that.
I'm kind of tired of it. Like, I
know how you feel, but not, despite how you feel, I predict you're not done. So if people want to follow your work, there's 3 places. Your website is ryandawson.org, and then on X, you're at Rye Liberty. And I'm sorry, I didn't have the other one prepared. Want to give that again where the merchandise is?
Oh, it's antineocon.com. It's at ryandawson.org is where everything is. And like 99% of my stuff is on foreign policy, the Iran war, the Ukraine war, things like that. The Tate thing is like, these were friends of mine. I knew them. Their lives are ruined now. And I've yet to see any evidence or any real due process to law. If they're guilty, fuck them. But I've yet to see any evidence that they are. And I've asked for it. I go online and go, what is it? And they all just repeat the same stuff about the webcam business and how people got scammed or whatever. Like, that's not illegal. It's not illegal to have digital strippers.
You've made a strong argument. Thank you very much. And thanks for either getting up early or staying up all night, whatever it took. We appreciate it very much.
Hey, thanks for having me. And everybody, Jess Staley's going to Congress on the 23rd. That's the bigger story. That's an actual human trafficker. 20,000 incidents of unlawful sex acts. That is what we all ought to have focus on. But I don't think that's going to happen. That's Epstein.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll be covering that too. All right, everybody. Thanks to our beloved audience. Thanks to Ryan and thanks to Greg Dillon. Join us tomorrow night on Ask the Inspector with Scott Ritter at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for The Whiners. Take care, everybody.